Hi, I'm Matt Truxaw. I'm running for District 1 in Fullerton, which is the northwest corner of Fullerton. Honestly, I've only been to 2 or 3 city council meetings in person. And I think that's one of the concerns I have with city council is it's easy to ignore. And I think as a city council person, I think one of the things we can do better is pushing the information out, especially when there's those key votes and things that are coming up, so people understand, like the walk-on Wilshire votes tomorrow, that people understand that that's something that's important to the city and people should know about it. And that one has been pretty well publicized, but what other things haven't found out? I've recently semi-retired. I still do an occasional consulting gig. But now I've lately had more time to start focusing on what's happening, and I realize we need to change some things. The budget is a hard one because there is limited budget. There's only certain things you can do. But I think ideally we can expand revenue. The main sources of revenue are property tax and sales tax. So increasing the business, drawing people into Fullerton. Again, the walk-on Wilshire I think is a great little thing that brings people in and gives them a chance to spend money accidentally. And then from a property tax perspective, I know there's some new build going on, maybe adjusting some of the zoning requirements and things to make it a little easier to build something new. And then as far as cuts, I don't know for sure. One of the things, I come from a business background, an IT background. I've done a lot of projects over my career, and I understand how to understand what's needed, what's the most important priority, and focus on those and get those in. So I'm hoping not to have to cut things, but if there are, I think there are opportunities. Again, maybe from an IT perspective, are there things we can automate to make it more efficient and cost less? I think there's likely to be some of those opportunities as well. District 1 is up in the northwest. It's probably one of the more affluent areas of Fullerton. So honestly, the big issues are probably not the most important overall, but the big issue that I hear as I walk around is the roads. And that's not just District 1, that's all over. And doing something to clean up those the roads. But I don't like to think of, even if I'm representing District 1, that I'm just representing District 1. I think that's one. I'm not just here for the people of District 1, I'm here for everyone in Fullerton. I think there's lots of different opportunities there. And we should look at what does Fullerton need, not necessarily what District 1 needs. I have a very grassroots campaign. I have this much budget. I know Fred's got like $250,000, my opponent. Most of that's from outside of Fullerton. I've got mostly local people and then friends and family who have contributed. And I'm on a bare bones budget. I've walked nearly every house in my district because I can get out there, I have 2 legs. But I don't have a lot of dollars. From an endorsements perspective, I jumped into this campaign late. I haven't really gone out searching for endorsements. I do have a half a dozen or so, mostly from local teachers and things, people who I've known personally over the years who know I'm honest and trustworthy and I'll do what I say I'm gonna do. Affordable housing in Orange County is really an oxymoron. Fullerton is one of the lower priced cities, believe it or not, in Orange County, and the median price of a house is still over $1 million. So it's really hard to talk affordable housing. I know there is some builds going on for technically affordable housing to help that out. And one idea I heard recently that I think is really interesting is the idea of being able to put a tiny house or possibly even an RV on a yard, in your yard, and make it a rentable space. Now, to do that, you'd have to make sure there's the appropriate sewer hookups and things. You don't want people dumping stuff in the streets. But I think I'd need to think about it more, but I think that's one way that might be a possibility to, again, for people who are willing to live in a small space or people who have no space and need some place. And then other things like making it easier to get build an ADU on the back of a house to make a small rental space. Those are some of the things I can think of. Okay, I mentioned walk on Wilshire. That's a pet peeve of mine that they're, well, I still don't know why they're talking about closing it down, but I think things like that are really wonderful, and it brings people together, gives you a space, creates a walkable space. I would love to create, honestly, a series of like pocket plazas like the walk on Wilshire around different places in Fullerton. They're talking about doing one up by the Fox Theater, maybe down by the Union Pacific Trail, and maybe a few others, and create an incentive to walk between them and make it a little safer area to walk between. That helps bring the community together. It helps bring people together. It helps people get some exercise. And then there's a lot of accidental benefits of someone walking down the street and going, oh, look at that shirt in that window. Let me go step in there. Or, oh, I need a drink. Let me go in here to this cafe. So that's the walkability thing, I think, is something we should really focus on. Well, walkability actually would help if you made it easier to bike or walk around town. Making safer bike trails and things would help. I love that like the parking structure over the library has the solar panels. I think we should be putting solar panels on top of all of our rooftops. And I think doing it over parking lots is especially good because you create the shade and you create the energy savings. And then other things, I know they're working on some of the things like composting and other things with our trash collectors. And I'm sure there's a lot of other things we could do. I mean, and there's a lot of things we can do just as citizens. It doesn't necessarily require a city involved. My wife and I joined a group that went down into the Barrancas to clean out trash a couple weekends ago. Those types of things. There's a lot, I think, encouraging everyone to get involved is going to be more than any one city council person do. But we should do what we can as a city council too.